is the best Spielberg.
This is the double zone. This is the double Dennis this week.
I still think Jaws is the best.
For the viewer,
I think this is very good.
After this,
for the viewer, Jim hates Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Which is so funny because didn't you choose? Who chose?
I chose the
Empire?
only Spielberg movie.
Yeah,
Empire.
Empire.
Oh, Empire, right? And I picked AI. That's the two
Which
we've
is-
done so
we've
far. Right?
had that too. Yeah.
And they both.
This is our third.
Sorry, Spielberg. I'm not like you're a genius, but both those movies suck balls.
But man,
Okay, anyway.
you want to see where this kid came from. This is the film, man.
This is the best Spielberg we've watched on this channel. I think.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. Finally picked a good one. But what? What's your problem, Chris?
What's your problem, man?
I'm probably the biggest Spielberg fanboy on this show, and I hadn't seen this in a while, and I was really excited to watch it again. And I mean, my screen cap, I ran out of I can't pull 20 screen caps of this movie because there's so many fucking just Jesus, this fuck. I mean, come on, But
that's a good shot.
Yeah.
My problem with this movie starts with the second Dennis Weaver tries to pass that guy, and suddenly it turns into murder. And so I looked up, and Spielberg,
I wouldn't say suddenly. It's a gradual thing.
It's a gradual.
But if you literally watch the entire beginning of their interaction, it's like, okay, what the fuck did this guy do to get this guy so mad? And the stunt guy that drove.
Do you drive a lot, sir?
Okay, Chris,
have you been on the roads?
Have you been on the road?
I used to drive more than any of you fuckers. I used to drive 500 miles a week to work. However, so Spielberg apparently told the guy that was the stunt driver who asked what his motivation was. Spielberg said, "You're a no good rotten son of a bitch." And the guy went, "Okay." And that's it. That's what we are hanging the next 90 minutes on.
Well, Jaws, do you go, why is that shark so mean?
The shark
don't have vendettas. Why is that shark doing that?
The shark is fucking hungry. Yeah. So what this
it's all the mayor's fault.
It is 80 minutes of astounding technique hung on the most flimsiest road rage premise, and I did struggle with that. Now, at the end of the day,
Chris,
I would just say don't underestimate road rage at all.
All the rage is because he passed him.
Okay.
Yes.
Give me a
that's
second.
It.
That's how it starts, and then it's just like a fuck you again, and then they get into, and then it just escalates.
But doesn't he pass him twice?
Give me a second.
At least.
Weaver does almost nothing to escalate.
No, he doesn't. Let me explain here. This is my theory.
Weaver exists.
He picked him before Weaver did anything to piss him off. He's just
nothing. All he did is pass him. But the thing is, that's the center, the emotional center of the film is about irrationality.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not. Dennis Weaver is a very rational man. He's a salesman. He gets in his car, drives out of LA, goes in the desert.
Make this meeting.
Everything is down to routine with him, and he finally meets something that does not in any way.
Yeah, it's
rational. It's complete rage and emotion, and that's what he's dealing with. The emotional core of this film is astounding because he's dealing with this angry truck. I mean,
well, and correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think
an angry truck.
Do you guys remember? I think he does pass him twice. Correct?
Yeah, I know.
So it's like the first. I think the first time is a regular pass, and the second time he celebrates right in the car to himself, sort of.
No, that's all. I think the truck driver's pissed at him after the first pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, anytime you're on the road and someone is like kind of going slow, and someone is kind of tailgating you, and then you pass them, that person that gets passed is always kind of like, "Fuck you, man!" Right? I mean, a little bit.
I've done it.
That's this guy. That's this trucker guy. And then if it happens again and you're like celebrating it, he's like, really fuck that guy.
I will acknowledge that. Listen, Richard Matheson wrote this, who is no slouch. So I am probably missing something. And Scott, you're helping me a little bit with this.
It's the emotional content of this film is really.
That's what I felt like I was missing this time was any level of emotional attachment to anything other than wow, this is pretty badass for a fucking.
This is a guy.
I want to interject that Jim and I were in a car. Jim, are you still there? Are you frozen? Or are you holding really still?
Damn, Jesus,
frozen.
Oh no.
Oh no! I wanted to say something to Jim, but I don't think he can hear me.
Well, you know,
He can hear you. He just can't respond to us.
Just put a.
Oh,
He'll be right back.
He'll be back.
I'll save my comment for later when he comes back.
Just don't forget it. He'll be right
The
back.
editing
I'll
in
try.
this movie is amazing. The blocking, the fucking cars. I mean, like technically, it is a 10.
It's a
Especially
flippant. Also,
considering TV
it's a
movie.
flippant
he's back.
TV movie. It's like those
Right.
they were made for nothing back then.
But it goes beyond TV movie. You know,
it was actually intended for
accomplishment. Like,
It was intended for
Okay. Jim's
theatrical
back.
and
Let me ask Jim the question or make the comment at least.
Oh, Jim, you there?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
just checking.
Jim, I was about to ask you something and realized you were frozen on the screen.
Yeah.
Because the discussion was, I guess, sort of like, what is this movie about when it seems completely arbitrary what's happening to Dennis Weaver's character? And I still remember you and I discussing Spielberg. We were carpooling. Where were we going? We used to ride together, to
Probably Sonoma State or something.
Sonoma State? Yeah, it was a long time ago. And I remember you saying about Spielberg that, and Duel specifically, that he was young and he really had no insight into human nature, and so he made a movie about a truck chasing a man.
That's exactly right.
It is.
That's
And that was your
precisely
and it
Boy,
stayed
young
with me,
Jim
obviously
Viso
since
was great.
not just
I'd
a
like
truck.
to meet him.
since
Right, but hold on,
1980
hold on.
I have thought of that,
Not just
and
a truck.
I've saved it, and I'm finally using it now.
An
Hold
angry,
on,
vengeful
Spielberg
truck.
did not
That's the
write
thing.
this. Richard Matheson wrote this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like-
The sci-fi guy.
I would
Yeah.
actually go, Spielberg did everything he was supposed to do, which is to take what was on the page and make it as thrilling as possible.
Right.
Lack of emotional core, at least for me on this viewing, is more of a Matheson problem than a Spielberg problem, right?
All right, Jim, you're wrong. It took us 34 years to figure it out.
1980 is 44
Oh,
years
44.
ago.
It's an A plus
40.
because I mean, you cannot. There's no way
Math
to make a
was
movie about
never
a
your
killer
strong
truck more
suit.
exciting than this movie.
Also, remember the name of the film. It's called Duel. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So I think Weaver is complicit.
Yeah, it's a Plymouth Valiant
Well, but-
versus a Mack Bulldog. It's like that, and that's it. It's basically a contest of two cars. You know, it's
Yeah,
almost like George Lucas
it's
actually
David
could've
and
made this
Goliath.
film.
but
Yeah.
I love
It
the
is.
fact
It
that
is.
it is
The
shot
last
all
2 minutes.
around the Velasquez rocks,
But
but,
I think
you
it's
never see them.
even if Spielberg at that time, even
They
if
would have
Spielberg
to turn off to see them, so they can't.
Yeah.
even if he didn't understand human like emotion at this time, what he understood, it's funny to watch this right after, you know, and I'm sure, Scott, maybe this is sort of why you picked it, even though I'm sorry I missed the show about your picks, Chris, but to watch these young guys do their first movies,
That's
right?
it. That's what's part of it.
So we watched Carpenter do his first movie. We watched
Sorry, yeah.
George do his first movie, and now we're watching Steven do his first movie.
Yeah.
And even though I thought I was really impressed with George's movie because I had never seen THX, but it's sort of, even though Spielberg becomes and sort of changes cinema in a way that's both arguably good and bad, and I agree a lot with Jim on how like certain things he ruined, but I also think that he's also incredibly gifted and did, you know, so much. He's such a visual. It's here is someone, you know, watching all these early guys, it's clear that he is a standout in terms of like how smart he is. Yes, visuals, exactly.
He's a
Visual
master of
storytelling.
montage. The way he picks his shots and what angles he uses and how he cuts it together. There's those fish eyes of the truck.
Mhm. He's just got an incredible sense of rhythm and pace.
Yes,
And he doesn't- he
it's
never-
really
never-
he's like showing off almost.
and giving you, he gives you all the information you need. And sometimes when he's really on, it's just enough, not too much. And sometimes, you know what I mean? Later on in his career, sometimes it's way too much. Yes. But like, and I agree with Jim. I there's a lot of his films that I really don't like,
You know,
but there's a lot of his films that I really do love. And you can see Indiana Jones here. I mean, you can.
For sure.
this is one where, you know, the first film I can think of he's done where, or any film where they do that multiple crash zoom where you're trying to zoom in on somebody, you don't zoom in, you go shot, 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 shot.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that happens like 3 or 4 times in this film. And instead of just crash zooming in like a lot of people, especially European directors do.
Well, and there's so much effective cross cutting in this film.
There is.
to-
And the
to
thing is,
give you a
unlike
sense of
Easy
space
Rider,
and
where they're
time.
doing the A/B trick, it never brings attention to itself in this film.
Yeah.
No, it just works. It
Never
serves
too
it.
aware there's a film being made in this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Not-
not a
not
bad
so much.
thing to be told that a film is being made. I'm a great fan of Bertolt Brecht.
Also, the one
And,
thing
and that's Godard as well.
Yeah.
Right.
one thing about that, the point that the shot that Jared pointed out that we're looking for Spielberg in the reflection, which
Mhm.
I eventually
Yeah.
saw him. But that scene, if you watched all the way through, is an insane stunt.
It's insane.
Oh, I couldn't believe how did
Dennis
they get
Hopper's, sorry, Dennis Weaver's in that booth, and that thing
that truck
really,
is so close. How did they get it that close with him
I
still
don't
in
know
the
how
fucking
they
booth?
did it without actually endangering your star. It's like
lenses?
insane.
It's really well done, and yeah, I rewound it because I was like, "There's no way they could get that truck going that fast, that close to the thing," but they did. I don't know how.
Let's say have him in like
They might
Like
have
on a
taken
rope
the
or
right side,
whatever,
the
yeah.
right side of the shot,
Or
they
the
had
driver
on
was
rope,
just like, "Trust
and
me, I'm
there's
going to
no
slam on
wall
the
there,
brake." I
you
mean,
just
I
pull
don't
it
know
out,
how they
right?
did it.
Yeah, that's probably what they did, man. Because that
It's
was
crazy.
just nuts. It was just there's some crazy stunt work.
Also, when the truck is circling around and knocking out all the snake ladies stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
Oh, yeah.
right after. Yeah,
she was pissed.
That moment in particular feels like sort of the new Hollywood. For some reason that is like the most Easy Rider-esque moment in the whole movie.
Uh-huh.
The snake lady.
The snake lady, yeah.
Actually,
yeah,
the
she's a
snake
little
lady scene was-
hippie-ish.
The snake lady.
She's probably
scene
got
was
some
interesting.
grass back
Yeah.
in the
He probably
Interesting
does.
because it was only that point in the film, which is almost at the end, where I'm not sure if Dennis, I forgot the name of the character, David Cross, I think.
Man.
whatever, it doesn't matter.
Two
Drive-
M's.
guy driving
Doesn't matter.
car.
David
David
Mann.
Mann is his name?
doesn't even matter
David-
what his conversation on the
David
phone
Mann.
to his wife is.
Well, David Mann-
Doesn't matter.
You don't know if he's imagining his shit or not, because he can't convince anyone that it's real. At that point, the trucker shows himself.
Yeah.
It's like he wrecks that whole area there to show you that this is real, it's actually happening, and run for your life. So that was kind of interesting. It
I
escalates
think
the entire film.
the scene in the diner is so good
Yes.
The boot.
for so many reasons. Yeah, visually it's amazing, just like this whole movie.
Just knock it off. Is that what he says?
Well, it's that classic put yourself in what would you do
Yeah.
if you were in that scenario. And
I would have gotten
it's-
in the car and gone the other way.
Well, that was. Thank you, Jim.
Well, there is that. Yes.
I'm the guy that the second this starts to get weird, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna say I had like dyspepsia or whatever. I would turn the
Yeah.
car around and go home. Fuck
It's
this.
just like
I
this.
would have like there was part of me when
tolerance for crazy people is about this
Yeah.
much.
Okay.
there was
I
a part of me that was like
180
when
and
he's
gone home.
when he's scanning the bar in the boots and
yes,
hats.
looking
and
for the
part of me
Yeah.
was like, dude, go outside, find a crowbar and start fucking the truck up. Just fuck it up. And the guy that comes out is the guy. Like that's the guy.
That would
Like
have been genius. Actually, you should have done that. But my God.
but that's not but that's only if you're
That's
ready
a
to
different
fight.
he was
movie.
he's
It's a different movie.
non-confrontational as a
Right.
character.
If it had been Mel Gibson, that's what he would have done.
I would have
And he would have been
ran
drunk.
away. That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay,
Robin
sugar
ran
tits.
away. He
Although,
did.
mind you, I'm gonna relay a story that actually happened while driving Lyft once. I was going up International Avenue, which is, as everyone knows, is a terrifying neighborhood in South Oakland, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm driving along, and
See the-
I actually cut somebody off, and
Yeah.
they were pissed, and they were chasing me.
Yeah,
And
see?
I'm in a Mazda
Road
5.
rage.
The thing is, at that point, I've been driving Lyft for 4.5 years, and so I was actually like, big deal. They're getting closer and closer and closer. This is International Avenue. They probably have guns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I took them down 3 blocks, ran a red light. They kept following me. I got to a corner where there was a long abutment and a turn, jinked over, turned out, and lost them. And it was
it's
like
a real thing. It's weird.
that
It's scary.
actually that's like that was as close as I ever had something like this happen to me. It's like
I gotta get your adrenaline pumping.
oh, it was
Yeah.
like that was I tuned out, Lyft, went home after that. It's like I'm done.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, that was the other thing. It's like with everything, this guy is like. I'm thinking, okay, how long you been in the car? With everything you've seen, even in the first 20 minutes of your interaction with this lunatic, what is so fucking important about this meeting that you are not turning your car around and going home?
It must have been very important. I don't know if they.
But what's also not to say that if he turned his car around and went home, the guy wouldn't follow him there, though.
Yeah, that guy would have turned around and followed him anyway.
into LA.
This guy's a madman.
No,
You know,
but
this
but
would be
it
a
only
good
works
double.
out in the country.
I think this would be a good double
Instead of going
bill,
further into the country,
Scott.
You're going back to civilization.
Right.
Okay,
If
so
you
But he would
as
still
soon as
probably
you-
follow him.
Big props to the opening.
If he
part.
could make it to the city, then I guess he'd have to leave him alone.
Yeah.
He probably
Yeah,
lives somewhere in Glendale. I love the opening bit. It's all montage of civilization, sidewalks, freeways.
Well, that's the other thing is like,
all of a sudden you're in no man's land at the end.
I think I know why Jim thinks this is Spielberg's best movie is because the opening of this movie is really ballsy
It is.
in terms of filmmaking. He's just showing you a POV of a car driving for like the first like 5 minutes of the movie or
Yeah.
whatever. Not that long, but it's like 2 minutes of the movie, which really is that's a very avant-garde. It's very cinematic. It's very
And this
different.
is a TV movie.
There's no
I know.
character yet.
And
There's
I
no-
think that's why he got away with it, John. It's a
Yeah.
TV movie that
Is this the
nobody
stakes
was.
were lower?
Expectations were like this.
There wasn't a bunch of bigwigs sitting
But
in the
like
screen
that's-
room going, no.
But that's
No, no,
artistic
you
as
can't
fuck,
do
dude.
that.
It's artistic as fuck, and I loved
It
it.
is, yeah.
I was like, he's doing this big old thing, and he hasn't even introduced a character yet. He hasn't
I
done
don't think a
anything.
Valiant has ever looked so good.
Oh,
I
it's
know,
beautiful.
right?
Also,
You know,
note
I
the
was
na-
going, when was the last time I saw one of these on the road?
When Chip Chase was probably driving it.
I used to
I
have
couldn't
one.
remember.
I had a 65. That's a great car, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could not remember the last time I
But
saw
that's
one of these.
solid. Plymouths are solid. Also, note the name Valiant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prince.
The whole the
The
dual.
Prince of Cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, I think again, technically an A plus. I just, for whatever reason, I struggled with the narrative.
buy the
but
premise.
Does it matter? No.
You know, since we're on a roll, we should choose Ridley Scott's first film, The Duelist.
Duelists.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought it was kind of dull, but okay.
Well, it's
Yeah.
pretty boring.
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say briefly.
Gorgeous.
Has anyone seen?
Yeah, looks great.
Has anyone seen the hitchhiker? What's
Hitcher.
the Hitcher?
The Hitcher. Ricker Hauer?
Yeah, that would be a good double bill with
Yeah.
this.
Actually would be. It would be.
Yeah.
Actually,
That's a good
the Hills
movie.
Have Eyes would be good with this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, less so though because they stop.
It's a
and
little,
sort
it's a
of-
little obvious, but yeah.
I've seen The Hitcher probably a dozen times at least.
I love the Hitcher, and it's very much like a crazy person on the road type of movie.
Again, earlier on I bitched about motivation. Ricker Hauer in The Hitcher has no motivation other than he's a mean son of a bitch.
He's
You know
a
what, this would've
psychopath.
He's
This one
crazy.
doubled what? This one
What's
doubled
the
well with
other
that.
flick that's it was a Belgian film and then they remade it as an American flick, and it's
Which
a
one?
it's a
It's
car
something-
chase. I think the premise is they're trying to get from New Orleans to LA or something. He's supposed to be driving a car.
Vanishing Point.
Vanishing Point. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
You know
Oh,
what?
is that a remake?
I really wanted
Oh, I
to.
thought that
It's
was
a
a full
remake of a
American movie.
European
No.
flick. Yeah.
I can never. I tried.
That's also
It's not
71.
available anywhere. I tried
Yeah.
hard to get that film.
I've got a Blu-ray copy, Scott, but
You're
it's
kidding.
out there. It's
Yeah.
out there.
We'll talk.
It's out there.
But
That's like
it-
notoriously one of Tarantino's favorite movies.
yeah. But
It's literally like a car chase. That's
Yeah.
it.
It is a car chase. Yeah.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Mhm.
There was a period of time when
fine film,
I was
It
getting
is.
like weekends for me when I was like 6, 7, 8 years old was, mom was dating a new guy, and what they would do with this, they would drop me and my brother off at a triple feature because it would keep us occupied for the entire afternoon.
Mhm.
I saw a lot of grindhouse car flicks.
oh yeah,
Like what Scott said, Vanishing Point, check. Fucking Gone in 60 Seconds, check. A whole lot of other ones.
Mhm.
And there was something happening in the early to mid 70s, which was just car movies.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah,
Death Race
American-
2000.
Well, yeah,
I
you
think
got-
it was all the
Even
Boil over
Bullet.
from
What
Bullet.
what year was Bullet?
Well, Bullet was
68.
68, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
That probably
shit. I
kicked
mean,
it off.
Smoking a Bandit, Cannonball Run.
77.
Right.
Cannonball Run,
Cannonball
Cannonball
Run.
Run, and the other one, the Gumball Rally. You ever see the Gumball?
Yeah.
Gumball
Rally?
Rally's my favorite.
Hell of a movie, man. Hell of a movie.
I saw that.
What's
That's
the-
76. That's
What's
a good one.
behind me doesn't matter.
That's Raoul Julia. That's the best line in that movie. What's behind? It's not important.
Exactly. It's precise.
I use that. I still use that in daily life.
I'm sure you do. All right. Well, okay. Let's
I
get
mean,
it.
come on. Like it's still my issues. They're nitpicky. It doesn't matter. This movie's fucking amazing.
Jared.
By the way, I didn't watch it. But
Oh,
I've seen
awesome.
it like 10 times. So
Same here.
Okay.
Well,
Wow.
you know what's really funny, Scott, is
Yeah.
I watched this movie for the first time, I think last month,
Whoa,
no kidding.
weird.
just on my own.
Whoa.
Just
That's
because I was like, I've never seen that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I don't remember why I watched it either, because it's not like I'm sitting
Probably
around
'cause
Jim.
it's first
Jim, I'm
time.
not sitting around being like, what Spielberg movies haven't I seen?
Yeah, right.
but I think I just watched it literally like a month or two ago,
That's hilarious.
and I was like, wow, that was fucking great.
You ever see
But
Sugarland
I watched it
Express?
again, so yeah,
Did you see
great.
Sugarland
Yeah.
Express?